Well, if you've watched the video on hunt and the adventure or whatever you want to call it, the circumstances that happened on that hunt, then you can tell that I'm making this video sitting in the same spot. I have been wanting to uh, make some videos and just have had to just basically say today's the day I'm going to do it. So I'm shooting these two videos on the same day. But the title of this one, as you see, the worst hunt that I have been on, um, you'll understand when I tell you what this is. But I want to set some parameters up, and I want you to listen real close to what I'm going to say here before I get into the main topic. First of all, I don't want any negative comments on this video. This video is not something I need you to tell me that I did something wrong. I don't need you to tell me uh, situations that could have been done better from a Monday morning quarterback standpoint. I just need you to listen, and I need you to hopefully learn from this video. I'm only making this video for one reason and one reason only, in the effort to hope that this never happens to anyone else. And if someone can learn from this, then that's what the goal of this is, okay? I don't need negative comments, lambasting the other guy involved in this story. I don't need comments lambasting me for anything I did. As you listen, you'll understand how somebody might have an opinion, and I'll get into that a little later. But guys, I told you in the video with Hunt, you never know when the last time is that you're going to collar a dog up. This will be the last time it's going to happen. But each time you put that collar on the dog, you don't know if that's going to be the last time you collar a dog up. Now, some of y'all have been on hunts where you say, oh, that's a horrible hunt. I hope you remember this hunt that I'm going to tell you about, because killing rabbits, well, we had a horrible hunt. We didn't get into any rabbits. This is the worst hunt I've ever been on. Well, consider yourself lucky, because I have been on a hunt that I know could get worse, but it's the worst hunt I've ever been on. So I'm just going to say it this way. I'm not going to mention anyone's name. I'm not going to mention where I was. I don't want anything to be a bad reflection on anybody here, because that's not the intention of this video. I went to a hunt and hunted with some people, and there were no kids involved in the party. I love to hunt with kids as long as parents or adults are there to make sure everything's safe. So this has nothing to do with any kid. These were grown adults that we were hunting with. These were very well adversed, experienced hunters. Okay, I had a little dog. If you've watched what's been going on, I had a dog named Neela. I came up with the name Neela because if you look up the word Neela, it refers to blue tick. Refers to blue. I'd have to look it back up to tell you exactly what it means. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm getting old. But anyhow, if you look at when I went to Kansas back in January, I took her on her first hunt that we'd actually killed some rabbits with. She was doing great. She was a dog that was very, very well on her way to being a super, super dog. Very proud of the way she was performing. She had the look. She had it all. And so I took her on a hunt, and we had just started hunting that morning. I think there'd been a couple of dogs that had been a couple of rabbits that had been shot, and so we had already got a few, so we were doing okay. Things were going along, and I had moved up into the thicket. It was very thick stuff, and I had moved up into a thicket. There was a field, like a cornfield. There was a lane that was cut like you would have for a road, And so I was up in a thicket. I had gotten a phone call, of all things. I got a phone call, somebody interested in a dog. So I had took the phone call. I was on the phone, and dogs were running uh, a rabbit. And I had looked at my GPS, and I knew that I had one dog that was not with the pack that had got on her own rabbit. It was Neela, and she'd been running it a little bit. We'd had a split race going on for a minute, and the main dogs were coming kind of in the direction of me, and so I was kind of hoping to get off the phone real quick just in case I could see the one little spot I had to see if I could see the rabbit, and so when I finally was getting off the phone, as I was saying the last few words and saying bye, I heard a gunshot, and I heard a dog that started squalling and running, and it sounded like a dog that if you'd have thrown a boiling hot pot of water on is what it sounded like. And then I heard, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh no. I think I know what this means, but I hope it's not what I think it means, but I'm pretty sure it's what I think it means. And about that time, the people involved brought the dog to me, and it was Neela. And the guy made the basic mistake that we all know better than to make. And like I told y'all, I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna say where I was. It is not my intent to embarrass the guy. He already is upset at what happened. He shot at movement in tall grass, very thick stuff. Okay, um, I would think that a rabbit would not sound the same as a dog coming through stuff, but no matter what, you've got to identify your target and verify what you're shooting at. You don't just shoot at something moving in the grass. And he knew that, but in a moment of weakness, he pulled the trigger. And so when she was brought to me, um, wasn't anything gross, um, as far as like parts of the dog blown up or anything real sickening to look at. Some blood coming out of the nose. I uh, I put her in my arms and started trying to get myself out of the thicket, which was a job in of itself. And I yelled out to the guy that we were hunting with, and told him I need to get to a vet immediately. I finally made it out of the thicket, but when I got to the field to start going toward my truck, Neela died in my arms. And, you know, I always thought, what would I do? In all my years of hunting, I've never had a dog shot. And I always thought, what would I do if I had a dog shot? And the flesh part of me and the redhead in me would be, oh, I'd tell that person this and that and yada yada, or well, if it was a kid, maybe I would be a little, I don't know, I'd just be upset and mad. All I can tell y'all is there's times in life where your faith is put to the test. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I, on my own, did anything right, because I alone cannot do anything right. But God provided me with the ability to not say anything. I did not throw anything. I did not yell. I did not cuss anybody out. I did not do any of that stuff. And I know that's God. I just walked to the truck, placed the dog on the tailgate, and sat down on my tailgate. It was like I was in a dream. I was in shock. Um, and everyone was called out of the woods, and the guy felt horrible. I understood that. He said to me, I know saying I'm sorry doesn't mean anything right now. And I was just sitting there trying to take it all in and trying to figure out, what do I say and what do I do? Now, on the way over there, I had talked to a guy one-on-one. He was in my truck, and we had discussed about some things about God. We had discussed that, he said that he kind of had got upset and mad at God because things had happened to his daughter and some disease that she had gotten, and he blamed God for it. And then, that uh, some different things like that. And I just used that opportunity to say, God always has a plan. This is before the hunt. God always has a plan, and we have to trust His plan. And a lot of days I get upset about stuff and realize that I got upset over a flat tire, or I got upset over this circumstance or that one, and they really are nothing compared to what other people are going through. And I just had that conversation that morning, just maybe an hour and a half before this happened. So we talk, we have that faith talk we can do. We can go to church and talk, but how do we walk? Well, God put me in a position, allowed this to happen. Am I going to get mad at Him for allowing this to happen? I got eyes looking at me. How's David going to handle this? I think people would have understood if I would have got upset and threw something and yelled at somebody and lost my temper. I think people would have understood that. But it wasn't the right thing to do. And God gave me the grace to get through it. And He gave me the words to say. And all I said, and I'm not telling you any of this to make me look good, because this is God. It has nothing to do with me. Basically, the words that God put in my mouth to say was, guys, there's things that happen. And I could get real mad right now. And I am upset. And I was upset. And I'm still upset that it happened. But I'm not mad at anyone. And that's what I said. I said, I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just upset at the loss of my dog. And that was a tough one. And I said, as bad as this is, there's somebody today facing something so much worse. Somebody's wife's died in a car wreck. Somebody's child has been killed or has found out they've got terminal illness or something. So there's a lot of things that can happen that are far worse than this, even though this is bad. And so God gave me that to say, and God also gave me the ability to say, I'm not mad at you, the individual, and I forgive you. If God can forgive me for the many things that I've done, the least I can do is forgive you, was exactly what God gave me to say. And the ability to go shake His hand. And yes, He did pay for the dog. And but the paying for the dog thing is not, that's not what you hope for. If you are a guy who goes out and says, hey, you know what, I wish somebody'd shoot one of my dogs because if I could get paid for it, that'd be great. If you are that person, then you are not a true beagler. You do not understand what the relationship is between a dog and what a beagler, what it should be. For me, I'd rather not had I'd rather had the dog than $10,000. That wasn't what the guy had to pay, but I would just rather have had the dog, and I'd rather not had to have that happen. But I thought about it later, and I thought, what can we do with this that will help someone else? And so I took a picture of the dog on the tailgate, and I'm not intending to put it on this video or anything like that. It's not a gross picture, it's just a dead dog on the tailgate. But I use it now, and I have a safety talk before every single hunt. And I normally have one with people that I don't know, but I knew these people that I hunted with. The man had 40 plus years of experience of hunting, and also had taught some gun safety and stuff before. So it can happen to anyone. You can get complacent, and in a moment of weakness, in a moment of greed over shooting a rabbit, or whatever words you want to use, you can make a mistake. And when you pull the trigger, it's kind of like when you allow words to come out of your mouth. You can't put them back inside. You can't take the bullet back. You can't take the pellets back and stick them back in the shell, stick it back in the gun, and it never happened. Once you pull that trigger, it's happened. Once you pull the trigger on what you're going to say to people, the words are out there. You can say, I'm sorry, but you can't take them back. So you have to use those words very wisely. And in a hunting aspect from this, you have to make sure that you never allow this to happen. Err on the side of caution, because if something like this happens to you, it is something you'll have to live with the rest of your life. We that were there, and me, for the rest of my life, I will remember that incident. The man that pulled the trigger is going to remember that, and is going to have to figure out how to get through that on his own. And I don't harbor any ill feelings toward him. Yes, I hate it that it's happened to my dog. I really do. I can't emphasize that enough. It's not like I'm sitting there going, oh, no big deal. It was a big deal. But for once in my life, I've done many, many things wrong. I'm not proud of that. But I am proud to say that God stepped up and allowed his faith, and what our faith should be, to be shown that day, in spite of me. Not because of me. I'm not a great person and all this different stuff. It just, God allowed that to be used that day for whatever he wants it to be used for. And so I'm sharing this with you, and some takeaways from it are this. If you do have situations happen to you and you blow up at somebody, number one, it didn't change anything. I could have got mad at that guy. I could have cussed him out. I could have done a whole lot of things, and all it would have done is made me look worse, and made the faith that I profess to look weaker, and would have made God, as far as if I'm supposed to be an example of Christ, it would have made it look worse. It would not have made that man feel any better. It wouldn't have changed my circumstances except made me look worse. It would not have brought that dog back to life. So I'm just telling y'all that, once again, what I want to say is I do not need anyone to comment on here and say, well, that's why I always know everyone that I hunt with. I won't hunt with any strangers, blah, 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 blah. This can happen to anyone if they're not paying attention and thinking. You have to constantly be thinking about safety. You can't let it lapse one single time, or something like this could happen. And it could have been worse. It could have been a human that was shot. I hate it for the dog, but it could have happened to somebody. So I tell y'all this story just for basically a few different reasons. Number one, be safe with each other. Be safe for your dogs. Have a safety talk before every single hunt. I wish I would have had one. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but I feel like I should have done it. I can tell you I've done it every single time since then, even with the same people that were there, even with others. The guy never hunted again. He went on home, and I understand all that. But what I'm saying is, other people that were there that experienced and saw it, none of us will ever forget that particular day. And so we've discussed some things since then as to what do you do. And I've got guys I regularly hunt with all the time, and trust them just as much as I trust myself. But when I run with other people that, even though they're experienced hunters, if I don't know them and haven't hunted with them a whole lot, I'm considering very strongly putting some bells on my dogs, just as a precautionary measure, that if you hear a bell clanging and you shoot in the bushes that bell's clanging, then you really, really, really messed up, even worse than what happened. But thought about doing that. That was one thing that came out of that. I do show the picture of Neela before every hunt I go on from now on, and try to not to be gross with people, but just to try to say, hey, this happened to me. And I can tell you it's effective. It works because there is people that have passed up shots that they normally would have took just to be extra safe. So if you are a person who the picture would help, I would be willing to send that in a text to you. But no matter what you ask me, I will not give up the name of who did this. I will not say the location or anything because I want to be respectful of the others involved in this story. My goal was to make sure that people understand the importance of safety and that they use this in a positive way to not allow it to happen to someone else. And that way, maybe Neela's death did not go in vain if we can do that. So like I said, if you're going to go on here and you're going to try to lambaste me for hunting with the wrong people, I'm just going to delete the comment because I don't need that kind of nonsense. It wasn't anything like that. I don't need you going on and calling this guy all these different things. I mean, look, guys, the bottom line is this. It was my dog. My dog is the one that died. It wasn't your dog. It was my dog. So if I'm not going to go on there and lambaste the guy, then I don't think you have the right to. And so you can state whatever comments you want to state as long as they're not negative comments toward him or negative comments toward me. None of us were, I was not an idiot for hunting with these people, okay? And I would tell you that this man had exemplified all kinds of safe hunting in the past. All it takes is one moment, one lapse moment, and in a half a second, it can change your life or someone else's. So take this very serious and always, always, always think about what you're doing and be safe, guys. The most important thing in any hunt is always this, that everybody goes home safe and that everybody's dog goes home safe. Whatever amount of rabbits you kill, that's just an extra bonus. But the number one thing should always be safety of yourself and your dogs. I know a lot of guys go out and they just shoot every single time they see a rabbit, they shoot. They don't give any thought as to, what the consequence could be, where the dogs could be. They shoot real close to their dogs. They shoot on the jump. They shoot all these different things. I don't shoot on the jump myself. I try to let everything get run by the dogs because I think it's safer that way. But I'm telling y'all, you hear about these things, but I can tell you, it happened to me. Don't let it happen to you. I hope this has been a help to you. Thank y'all for watching.